Blue 22.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Yeah! We are back. Friday, just before the weekend, which is, it's Friday, baby. Friday. Got lots of, I got some fun plans. Got some good stuff going on this weekend. Also, my son's last basketball game of the year, the Jamboree, happens tomorrow, which is going to be fun. And then we got the early celebration for my daughter's birthday party, which is just like family stuff. And then her birthday party's next weekend, where she's going to be 7. It's crazy. She is already more like a teenager than my son, who is a tween. And then we get to call. I'm going to call in the middle of this month, maybe like the 3rd week of March, to get ready to open the pool. So,
oh my God!
We open it April 15th, like right around there, every year.
Jesus.
It's nice having a heater for your pool. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. All right, so we got a lot going on today. We got some NBA, some MLB, some sorts stuff to talk about. I can't wait to talk about the Batmobile. I am very interested on your thoughts. And not just the Bry Man. I'm interested on anybody's thoughts regarding the Batmobile, because this is one of those things that I haven't really I haven't really looked it up on the internet to see how the consensus is feeling out there about this Batmobile. I watched a video with some random guy who does like a lot of movie stuff, Bat in the Sun. I don't know if you're familiar with it. They do a lot of like Batman versus Wolverine, Wonder Woman versus Thor, all that kind of stuff. They do a really good job, like cinematic TV like quality. And it's very well done. He did Batman versus Darth Vader, a lot of good. It's really, really cool. And he came on, the guy who's like kind of in charge of this whole thing. He came on and talked about the Batmobile and how he was saying that a lot of people were feeling like it felt like it was from the Fast and the Furious, more than it was a Batmobile. And I'm interested to see how other people feel about this new upcoming Batmobile, this new upcoming Bat suit, all that kind of stuff. Let me know in your comments. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. We're going to be starting off with let's start with the NBA today. We're going to do NBA because Tim Duncan had a little press conference, not a press conference, post-game interview. I'm going to play a little clip for him that he did to kind of give you a little taste of what happened. And then after that, we will get into Arod talking about the Astros. Some might say you shouldn't throw stones if you're in a glass house or whatever the hell that saying is. But
close enough.
But we will get into all that, and we're going to talk about it right now, starting with the NBA, baby, on NBC. You do your Marv Albert. Go ahead.
Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan? No.
James, right? Is
I think
James?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey?
Yeah. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Anyway, so we will get into it right now. I saw this. I follow the NBA. I wouldn't say as much as I do baseball or even as much as I follow the football, but that's just because it's such a popular sport. It's not necessarily, I do like the NBA more than the NFL. But I follow it more closely because it's more popular in this nation. So that's why I follow it a little more. I follow it more for you. But anyway, so NBA happened. Game happened. Pop was out. Tim Duncan in. And this was the first comment. We'll get in there. There was kind of a very, I think he was being modest. And then he went right from there to channeling his inner Pop. And I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And I think you got to put these people in their place early so they don't keep coming at you with dumb questions. All right, here we go. Ready? Tim Duncan.
Taste of it before, but moving over to the head coaching role this time around for the full game. What's the differences between being on the assistant side to
it's night and day.
to be in the big boy chair. But truth be told, I wasn't in the big boy chair. We've got Becky and Will and Mitch. Mitch prepped the game for us. Becky and we're making all the calls, and I was the only one just standing there screaming at people, nonsensical stuff. So we did it coach by committee, and it could have been any one of us up there, and we'd have done exactly the same stuff.
What brought you out of retirement in the first place? What was the overriding reason you did this?
Are we talking about the game, or are we trying to do interviews here for other things?
It's a question everyone's been asking.
Yeah, I'm just here for the fun of it.
So I like how he first off starts out and he's like very just passing on compliments to everybody but himself. When people know he is a smart guy, he is when it comes to basketball, he has a wealth of knowledge. He had one of the best coaches of all time teaching him the game. He was already a smart guy and very willing to learn. Did he clash with Pop from time to time? Of course. Who wouldn't? When you have two smart people who are both they both think that they are very, very smart, right? They both know they're smart. And then you're going to have two people that are probably very strong-willed as well.
Well, then on top of it, he's also probably the greatest power forward ever, and he's one of the top 10 greatest players who probably ever lived. So of
course, you're going to have some clash. That's going to happen. Michael Jordan had it with Phil Jackson.
Sure.
Kobe Bryant had it with Phil Jackson. Kobe Bryant had it with Shaq. Like there are a lot of people who clash. When you're smart, you're going to clash with other people who are smart, and that's okay as long as you're willing to work together.
Sure.
So that's how things get done. Well,
kind of like you and me.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, him giving, praise to everybody but himself is very much him. That is who he is.
Yeah, he's pretty effusive.
Yes. And then when it came down to asking a more personal question just about him, he quickly just stomped on the flame, was like, really, dude? Are we going to do a sit-down personal interview right now, or can we just talk about the game that just happened?
Yeah.
And the guy was just like, well, everybody wants to know. I didn't want to know. I could care less. You know what I want to see? I want to see him coach, and I want to see him coach well. That's all I care about. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm glad he did that. I thought it was very funny. I was like, ooh, that is something right there that he likely learned from Pop.
I was happy with how he handled the post-game presser because right off the bat, he mentioned Becky Hammond. Mm-hmm. He mentioned Will Hardy, and he mentioned Mitch Johnson, Spurs assistants. So he did a good job as far as handling that presser and giving the right answer. The problem I have is with Greg Popovich, and I don't know that I've ever said this before, but I have a problem with Greg Popovich. Not why was Tim Duncan the choice to be the coach for this game and not Becky Hammond? It should have 100% been Becky Hammond. She is the assistant coach on this team.
That was a question that should have been asked.
But it was not asked. It wasn't asked, and I don't know why it wasn't asked. Because
it's not his fault, but
no. And I'm not blaming. I'm not saying anything bad about Tim Duncan. First of all, Tim Duncan did a good job coaching the game, and he obviously, and again, he did a good job right off the bat of praising the assistant coaches, but within 10 seconds he mentioned Becky Hammond's name,
right?
As well as Will Hardy and Mitch Johnson. Fine, good. There's nothing. Tim Duncan did nothing wrong here. The question has to be directed to Greg Popovich when he returns to the team. Why Tim Duncan and not Becky Hammond? Why would you snub her for a guy who, yes, okay, Tim Duncan's an assistant on the team. Great, I get it. But how did he leapfrog her? I want to understand that. Yep. And look, no one's going to really give Greg Popovich too much shit here, right? I mean, he is the guy who actually brought the Spurs were, such trendsetters in terms of bringing the first female assistant coach into the game. Wonderful. Okay. So you did that, but it does beg the question, Pop, why didn't she coach the game? Now, I read something that said, well, Tim Duncan coached the game because he specifically scouted Charlotte. He scouted the Hornets, so he was the guy that they chose to, But I don't buy that. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't buy that. Why? So what? So what if he scouted that particular team? Becky Hammon has been the assistant coach on this team now for a few years. This would have been such a great moment for the NBA too. I mean, listen, it's awesome that Tim Duncan coached the game. It's cool.
Word.
I mean, it's kind of a wasted season for the Spurs anyway, so they might as well have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
They're a very subpar team, and they're not. I'm very disappointed in them this year. I really thought they were going to be actually a much more competitive team, but I just don't Becky Hammon's been in this seat now for 6 years. She's been 6 years the assistant coach.
Yeah.
She is by lineage. She is the successor. Theoretically,
And
she's
I would
the heir
think
to
that
the
if
throne.
Pop
in theory.
does leave, I think that will happen. Like you would think,
Well,
you would hope.
yeah. Well, you would
that
hope
that would happen.
That's not in her hands. I mean,
Right.
that'll be up to RC Buford and ownership. But
Right.
yeah,
They're progressive. I mean,
They're
they're
extremely
not afraid of
progressive.
change.
No. But it does beg the question: why not her? I mean, listen, I don't know the answer, so I'm just I'm asking because I
It
have no
might
clue.
be just to give him experience because he knows. I'm not now. Obviously, this is all speculative, but like this, if it was me and I was doing that, the only reason why I would do that is because I'm trying to give Tim Duncan experience in this seat, full knowing that it's Becky. What's her name?
Hammond.
Becky Hammond is
No. Hammond. Hammond.
Okay, Becky Hammond is going to move into the head coaching role when I leave. Now, and Tim Duncan will likely, he might even move into the assistant role, getting ready and full well knowing that he is not going to be a Spurs head coach. And that's why he's getting the experience because he's going to probably have to move on to somewhere else.
I mean, I suppose, but that's. But I mean, still. So she is the first full-time female assistant coach in any of the four major sports.
Yeah.
Which is a real. I mean, that speaks very highly, I think, of the Spurs organization. They're such
Yeah.
trendsetters. Pop had a perfect opportunity here to insert her to coach for one game.
Indeed.
And I know the players like her. I mean, there have been plenty of stories to back that up. Plus, she would have never survived 6 years if there was a mutiny with players.
Yeah.
So she's well liked within the organization. It's just a weird optic to me. But listen, it's cool that Timmy got the nod and that he was able to get a little bit of experience doing it. And I'm very happy with how he handled that post game because you know what, he was smart enough. Again, you talked about it at the intro there about how intelligent he is. Well, he was obviously smart enough to make sure to mention her name right off the bat.
Yep.
Like within 10 seconds of being asked that first question, like this is coach by committee.
He knows as well that she is a very smart individual.
Yep.
And he is going to give her credit. He's not going to just be like some of these other macho people who just take all the credit and, I was out there. Even if like he just said, I was just kind of yelling out nonsensical stuff. No. He made sure that he to give credit where credit was due, and then also downplay his performance, which is fine. I think it's great. I thought his post game. I thought it was a little bit of I don't know, pandering. I don't know. It was kind of like not necessarily pandering to the coaching staff, but really it was just kind of like downplaying his role, which is fine, but. It only goes so far when you keep saying how not great you are when you're really good. People don't take you serious anymore, which might be what he's trying to do. Just be like, well, stop asking me questions. So this way I can just kind of move on and keep coaching and I'll keep giving you these stupid answers. But anyway, overall good interview. I like that.
Now Pop is obviously an extremely intelligent guy and he's pretty witty. And I'm sure someone is going to ask him this question. My guess is he's going to say something really weird like, oh, well, I was doing it in alphabetical order, so Duncan came before Hammond. Would you put it past him to say something like that? I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't.
I pulled their names out of a hat, and this is what I got.
Could do that too.
No.
He'll have something.
I have all their names on a dartboard, and I just chucked it and landed on one.
I mean, look, he does. Listen. No one's gonna say. listen, I don't think anybody will say that wait a minute, is this a sexist thing?
Yeah.
Dude, he hired her.
Yeah.
She's still the only female assistant coach in all of the four major
And my
sports.
guess is he is going to highly recommend her for the starting job when.
Yeah, right. And maybe to your point, maybe he'll say something like, well, when I'm gone, she's going to be leading this team. Timmy will have plenty, he'll have coaching opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get him in the game to give him, because he's not going to be able to do it here.
Right.
So
yeah.
and maybe,
unless she misses time, like he's not going to be.
And maybe that would be a smart thing to say. Maybe it would.
I don't know. It's just that it was a speculative kind of thing.
Listen, Pop's
really...
smarter than me, so I have no doubt that he'll have. First of all, I hope somebody poses the question.
Oh yeah.
And then if
gotta
so,
happen,
I'm
right?
curious to see what is it. Well, yeah, I mean,
You would think. I mean, there's a lot of things that should have happened that don't, and that can get us into our next topic for baseball. And I mean, I guess this is kind of
the state of the Yankees.
I want to say, what up, Clint? Clint has said, "Hey guys, we haven't seen him. We were talking about him.
Hey, you guys,
just a few minutes ago."
Yeah.
And Brian Man was like, "Man, Clint hasn't been on in a while. At least he hasn't made an appearance like in the comments or anything like that." I was like, "I know. It's been weird.
What's the coronavirus situation out there?
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. So hopefully he's feeling okay, and hopefully nobody that he knows is affected, and because it's just infected, because it's just a bad.
I had to
situation.
I had to go pick up my daughter yesterday because the nurse called and she was like, "Yeah, she's got like a cold." So I turned to my wife and I'm like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, "Does she have the coronavir's?" Melissa's just like, She's like, "Can you just go pick up your daughter, please?" Like, I guess.
You got one of those N95 masks.
She already feels better today, but
good.
But yeah, I mean, she stayed home today, but yeah.
All right, so MLB. Arod makes some comments about the Astros, and they were essentially, I'm going to paraphrase here. He kind of basically was like, these Astros are getting what they're getting because they came out and they did this. They did what they did. They cheated everybody. And they are getting like rolled through the mud right now. And they should be. Because when they came out and apologized, their apologize was basically trash, which everybody thinks. And he even went into his own personal life and said, I was suspended. I lost $35 million. And I should have been suspended.
And I think he pointed out that he made an ass of himself too.
Yeah. And he basically came out and this is like the most honest I've ever heard him be.
Without a doubt, the most self-deprecating and honest I've ever heard him.
And I applaud him for that. I actually applaud him for that. I think that was a big thing to do on a fairly big stage, knowing full well that is probably going to be trending.
However,
go ahead with your however.
Well, listen. I said this about Ortiz a couple weeks ago, and I need to be consistent because at the time when we talked about Ortiz, I said Ortiz should not be talking about this because of his history with cheating, regardless of whether you believe he did or not. With Arod, I said at the time a couple of weeks ago, people like Ortiz and Arod need to keep their noses out of this. This is not their fight.
David Ortiz did not come clean, though.
No, he didn't come clean.
He actually doubled down.
Right. I actually think. It depends on what you think. I mean, he may even be worse because he never came clean. Because he's just, even though I think most logical people believe he did it. And then I think there are people, a lot of Red Sox fans who don't. They want to deny it and whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, again, it comes down to that whole thing. If somebody put a gun to your head, what would you really say? I know what I would say. But look. As far as Arod goes, I said it 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to be consistent. He needs to shut the fuck up here. This is not an area where he should be chiming in. Yes, he was self-deprecating, and yes, I 100% agree with you. He was as honest as he's ever been about his steroid use, and the fact that he made a fool of himself, and the fact that he could, the loss of money, but more importantly, that he really did say he's like, I basically made an ass of myself.
Right.
Going on the Mike Francesa show, saying the things that he said about the Yankees, trashing the Yankees, burning the Yankees in effigy.
Yeah, but all of that lawsuits, all that kind of stuff.
All that stuff. And he copped to it. And yes, I do give him credit for that. But that still, to me, does not change the fact that he should not be talking about this. He really, really shouldn't. In fact, if I were him and I were really as accountable as I like to believe that I am, if I had been asked about the Astros and I were Alex Rodriguez, I would say, you know what? Given my history, I really don't feel like I'm the appropriate person to speak with any sort of righteousness about this.
Right. And
so,
but I do
please talk to a guy who doesn't have a history of cheating. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, no, I'm accountable, and I'm not gonna chime in on this because I don't think this is my fight.
And that's weird.
I've been on the other side of it.
And it's weird because I actually am on the other side of it. I think I'm on the other side of you here, and that's I applaud him for what he said and actually coming clean in the media.
That's ironic because I know how much you hate him.
I do. I really do, because I think he's one of the most phony people I've ever seen on television.
Right.
So like,
well, what makes you think like this isn't? I mean, what makes you think this isn't phony too? I mean, yeah,
it's
okay.
More,
so
it's more of actually stating the facts and being like, I do think that him telling the Astros to apologize and sounding sincere and how he came clean and sounded sincere. I was like, no. That I don't buy. Don't say that they need to come clean. You can say they deserve to be dragged through the mud. That, yes. You deserve to be dragged through the mud. Yes.
Yeah,
all those things need to be. You can't say that you gave a heartfelt apology. If this is your heartfelt apology, even then there wasn't much remorse. It was more just basically throwing shit on yourself in front of everybody, but not really getting emotional about it. Which is where the actual apology, being a heartfelt apology, happens. If you are heartfelt, you are going to see possibly tears. You are going to see pleading with, there's that kind of aspect to heartfelt, being sincere, truly insincere. And I don't know if he can do that to the fans and the media.
Here's the other problem I have with Arod doing this, though. Keep in mind, and I'm surprised you didn't point this out already, he wasn't caught once but twice.
Yeah.
I mean, this really, like, of all the guys in Major League Baseball who really should just not comment on the Astros, it's probably him. In this case, I have to be consistent. I have to be consistent with what I said 2 weeks ago, because if I'm gonna call out a guy like David Ortiz, then I have to be consistent and say the same about Arod. Just because he was contrite doesn't mean that I can just give him the pass and say, oh, sure, carte blanche, say whatever the hell you want about the Astros. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I am on the other foot where I like when people admit it. I think that's good. I think
it
I'm makes me feel better about the person.
I'm happy with what he said as far as what he said about himself, because he's 100% accurate. And it was the most honest he's ever been.
But it's it's just like in the other side of things. Like if you have somebody who is, applauding somebody for their honesty, who is an honest person, that's lifting you up a little bit.
Sure.
You have somebody who cheated and has what it felt like, and I think it's important to kind of get that take and to actually be forthright in your comments.
Okay, that's
on the subject. I think that that's
a fair point.
It'd be like, if there was a big gambling scandal, and then Pete Rose came out to talk and he was actually sincere instead of acting like an idiot and goofball and then asking people to play cards on the set of like the MLB network or whatever the freaking hell he was at the time.
Instead of signing baseballs like the one I have over there that says, sorry, I bet on baseball.
Stop being an idiot and actually be sincere. It was really stupid. I'm terrible. I did a terrible thing. I deserve not to be in the Hall of Fame. Please stop asking to have me put in the Hall of Fame. I did a horrible thing. And these people also need to have that same situation. Like if they came to him and even cheating in baseball, because you're essentially cheating in gambling. Like there is gambling, people that are out there gambling money and betting on the teams against the Astros. Yeah. And they lost because the Astros won due to that. Like if you wanted to take it from that perspective, you could. And that's shady. That's real shady stuff.
It is.
And
yes, I agree.
So I applaud Arod for doing that. I still think he's kind of a little bit of a scumbag.
A D-bag.
But he's getting better. And as a lot of people do with age, they do get smarter and better because they see the error of their ways. Yeah. Like I was telling my son yesterday, he was telling me, he's like, I was talking to him about how, because I played really poorly in my last golf round, right? I went to a lesson, took a lesson. The guy changed my grip. I just wanted to go there to work on my driver, he changed my grip on my irons, and then I started hitting the ball, and I thought the TrackMan that was there was all messed up, and it wasn't really set up correctly, and I was firing the ball straight off to the right. It was weird. He changed my grip, and then I went home, and I was practicing with that grip for a while, lost my original grip after hitting so many balls with this new one, hurt my hand, and then on top of that, went to play the round, shot my worst round of the year there. Then one of the guy who I kind of go head to head with, he actually works there. He shot his best round. So he shot a 73, which beat my 74 from the week before. And I was like, oh, he did it right before my round. I shot an 88, which I haven't shot in a while. And I was mad. I was really mad, really upset. And he's like, what? He's only 25 and he beat you? I go, whoa. First of all, when you're 25, you are reaching your pinnacle. You're getting close to your pinnacle in athletic ability. Like 25 is where you're kind of like the chance to be the strongest you're going to be because your body can recover still. Your mind's actually getting smarter because you're a little bit older than you were when a teenager, and just so many things are flooding your head. You can concentrate on things better. You can work on things better.
25 was a good age.
You have the two things that go together that can really enhance you. The problem is your body starts to decline, after the age of like 35. You have like a 25 to 35 window.
That's for sure.
And when that 35 age comes, now your physical capabilities are starting to go down, but your brain is actually so much smarter. So when you're in your 40s, that's when your brain is probably 40s to early 50s is so incredibly smart, and you realize the error of all of your ways and what you should have done, and you can actually see the plan much better and more clear.
That part is true.
Now, the problem is your body can't really do a lot of the things that you need it to do at that point, and that's why athletes struggle as they get into their, golf is a little different. Like obviously you have Tiger and Phil who are, 40s, early to mid 40s and late 40s who play very well at a high level. And that is something that can happen in golf. But even in golf, like they have to work hard to get there still.
Well, Tiger's a perfect example of this too.
Yeah. So
early 40s, kind of, it seems like he's gotten himself together.
Yeah. And he doesn't have to practice as much because it's one, for his body can't handle it. And two, because he knows more than he ever did before. Right. And he knows exactly what he needs to work on to try and get those majors.
The bottom, and Tiger gave us the moment of a lifetime last year. So, even for those who hated him like me.
So I was trying to tell my son, like, listen to your coaches, listen to them. They know what they're talking about more than you do right now. You should definitely work hard because that's what your body's able to do right now. And then as you get older, your coaches are going to get better and better and better. So take away from that what you want. And so that's kind of where we got. That's where I went from that. So that's the whole thing. Like as you get older, you get smarter, not necessarily strong anymore. And you can't do the physical things that you wanted to do now that you have the brain power.
Now Arod can only do it with his mouth. Right. He can't do it with a bat.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's pretty much it. Clint wanted to say he's missed us. He was on a plane 3 weeks ago, had the flu 2 weeks ago, on plane last week, but thankfully no coronavirus in his county. Although they have declared it. They have declared Washington State ground zero.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay inside, Netflix and chill, sports and sorts and chill, all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah,
just don't fucking go anywhere. Just lock yourself in your house.
There you go.
I made one of those zombie apocalypse Armageddon runs yesterday when I went to the grocery store, and I got like, what did I get? I got like a bunch of cans of Lysol. I got like soap. I got Clorox wipes. Been like wiping down every doorknob in the house.
Campbell soup stock just like popped. They had and they said they were basically like, because of all that, everybody's buying our soup because they know that it'll be there for.
I was like FaceTiming. I'm like FaceTiming with Melissa. I'm like, oh, should I get some pasta? She's like, yeah, sure, get some pasta. What about sauce? She's like, no, we got plenty of sauce. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna get 4 boxes of pasta here. They got the Ronzoni 4 for $5 deal going.
I'm gonna get 40 boxes of pasta. put a gate around our house.
Oh God.
I have like you're gonna put out outlets all across your yard with like Lysol sprays that come out every 5 minutes. Just do a spray, get the whole yard.
Yeah, I know. It's bad, man. It's scary. I don't want to talk about coronavirus again, though. I feel like we covered that
Yeah, we did.
significantly last time. So I prefer to move on. But
Stock market's way down again today.
is it? I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't look.
Oh,
I don't look
I always
because I'm in the industry. I'm smart enough not to look. I am trained not to look at that
But then you don't
because
know.
that's what we tell people not to do.
But then you don't know when to buy stuff.
Well, see, I see because I have so many years left in the workforce too that I just say to myself, look, my finances are very well spread out where they need to be. I know that my 401k is taking a hit this past week, just like everybody else's probably has for the most part, unless you're in, much more like guaranteed accumulation account stuff. But as I have to see the forest for the trees because I have a long way to go. I have at least probably another 20 years, if not more, left in my career. And I know what will happen. This happens now. The market will bounce back. It always does. This is not the Great Depression.
Dollar
I know
cost
what's going
averaging.
on.
That's what your 401k does.
Yes, you're right.
All right, so there we go. Let's get on. We can move on and get into because I think we're done with sports.
Where do you think
Yeah.
you're going? I'm gonna sort it out.
Great movie. What movie is that from?
Are we still
what's
allowed to
called?
use that?
Ghost in the Darkness? Is that what
Ghost
it's
in the Darkness, yes. It is a great
called?
movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we're okay with using that?
Sure. I mean, it's such a small clip. I mean, what's it?
Okay. All right.
We could reenact it.
Plus 9 out of 10 people would probably not know where that's from.
Right. Well, I just
It's
said
not
it.
10 out of 10. No, I mean, but like if you played that,
Yeah, they'd be like, "What the hell's that from?"
yeah. Plus, when Val Kilmer says it, it doesn't actually really even sound like him
Right.
because it kind of sounds like he's got an accent.
A little bit.
I'm going to sort it out. So, so anyway,
All right, so let's get into Batmobile. Let's do Batmobile. So we got some pictures. I'm gonna post them up here. Woo! Look at that bad boy right there. That's a sexy car. Oh yeah. Let me see if I got another one here. Oh. Here's the back of it. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that beast. that thing's gonna go.
so I take it you like this Batmobile.
Look at that. Whoa!
I still don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I take it you like this vehicle.
I love this vehicle.
Well, as usual, we're on the opposite side of things.
I would like to hear your reasoning why you dislike it, because I know why I like it. And there's two reasons. One, I love like the 60
muscle cars,
the 60 Camaros and Mustangs, and
so do I.
I love those cars. They're so sexy. I love them. I want one. I'm hoping to get one before I retire fully. And I really, really love the look of this and his bat suit. I think they are both very practical, and I love it. And I'll get into reason why I love it a little bit more after your thoughts on why you dislike it.
Remember the what was the Rocky movie after Rocky 4? Was it Rocky Balboa?
Yeah. Well, there was, yeah.
So
there was the Rocky one with whatchamacallit?
Tommy the Machine Gun. There.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so do you remember the beginning of that movie? What happens?
That was Rocky 5, I think.
Dumb
or
fuck
whatever
yeah,
it was.
Rocky 5. Yes, it was Rocky 5. Yeah.
Balboa was the one.
Dumb,
with
it was the one after that. So dumb fuck Paulie, Rocky's demented brother-in-law, signs a power of attorney, and Rocky loses all his money. Yeah. So you had this rich guy who loses all his money. I feel like that's what this Batman is. This is like Batman Light. Like he's on a budget. This is budget Batman. This is budget man. Listen, you can say whatever you want, but listen, Bruce Wayne is a billionaire playboy. He's running around the streets of Gotham looking like in a costume and in a car that, quite frankly, I think you and I could probably afford.
No.
It's too practical. it's a little too practical for me. Like, that is one of the great things about Batman is he's outrageously rich, and even though he is this smart, scientific guy, he also plays up the billionaire playboy thing too. And that usually spills over into all of his, as Jack Nicholson once quoted it in the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton, his wonderful toys. And right now, you got Robert Pattinson walking around in some hand-stitched costume and some muscle car he pulled out of a junkyard and souped up and put a nice little engine into. And now he's running around Gotham saving them. I don't know. I'm struggling with this. Like this. Okay. I will say that there have been some ridiculous Batmobiles. I mean, there's no question about it. I didn't love Ben Affleck's Batmobile in the most recent iterations here in these DCEU movies. I did like Michael Keaton's first Batmobile in the first Batman movie. I did like that. I thought it had a pretty cool look to it.
It looked cool. It wouldn't be able to drive anywhere.
No, but it had a good look. I mean, listen, the original Batmobile, the Adam West one, of course, was awesome, but different time too. So I don't know. This car, it feels. I agree with you with the word practical, but it's like too practical to me. It just doesn't scream Batman or major technology. Or now, listen, I'm sure the car is going to be able to do some cool things when we see the movie, and that's all well and good. And I still have high hopes for the movie. I'm not going to go in there with any preconceived notions based on the car or even based on his costume. Because actually, when I saw the first close-up of his costume, which was mostly just the cowl, I actually thought it looked pretty cool. The costume is, whatever. It's fine. I don't know. This Batmobile, though, is not doing a lot for me. It looks like, seeing him stand next to it, it looks weird. It doesn't look like a Batmobile to me. And maybe that's because we've been trained over the past couple decades to think that a Batmobile does have to be this sort of crazy, fancy, technological wonder or a quote-unquote wonderful toy. And this just doesn't look like a wonderful toy. It looks like a muscle car, which I agree with you is pretty awesome. The only thing I do like about it is that in some ways it reminds me, because of that engine, it reminds me of my favorite movie car, which, of course, is the Turbo Interceptor from the Wraith. Because when they opened up the back of the Turbo Interceptor, the Wraith engine was, of course, like this supernatural engine that kind of like chugged and moved, and it had like all these lightning bolts and stuff around it. And actually, I don't know, there was something about the look of that engine that kind of reminded me of that a little. So in that sense, it was cool. But like, that would be a cool Batman car. Like the Turbo Interceptor, you wouldn't want it to be a Dodge, but because that car actually was a Plymouth Dodge, but you'd like that kind of black, sleek look to it. This car had like too much contour and texture. It just wasn't smooth enough for me to be a Batmobile. But the fuck do I know? I don't know. There's probably a lot of people who are reacting very well to it, because I do think a lot of people will probably agree with you on the practicality end. But I don't know. My first instinct is, it's not for me.
Okay. So this is my thought process on it. As a Batman lover, this reminds me, and I think this is where they're going. This is like early on in Batman's career. This is where he is very early on, like year 1, year 2, as a Batman. So therefore, you're going to have a couple of situations here. You don't know if he just came back recently from a long training session, with Ra's al Ghul or something like that. He came back and he was training like crazy to learn League of Assassins, all that kind of stuff, getting all these different skills and pertaining all these and getting all this knowledge, being the greatest detective, yada, yada, all that kind of stuff. You don't know if he's doing that, and then comes back. And if he comes back, Bruce Wayne shows back up in Gotham, and then a week later, Batman shows up with all this extremely expensive high-tech gear and high-tech car and everything like that, might give your identity away a little bit. Another issue is we don't know if he's super rich in this. We don't know what his issue is with his parents being deceased, if he has no money yet, if the Wayne if the Wayne company is like actually crumbling because nobody was there to run it. We have no idea what his wealth situation is at this point. And like I said, this is, in my opinion, is probably going to be close to year 1 or year 2. So you're going to have a growing of bat suits, Batmobiles, bat motorcycles, bat planes, all that stuff. You're going to see things improve and get better over time. And that's what I think is going to happen. The suit, I love it. I think it's very practical. I think he's going to be able to move. He's supposed to be the strongest Batman that we've seen yet. I'm hoping he's the smartest Batman that we've seen yet. And my guess is that they are going to have a new bat suit and a new Batmobile reveal or discussion towards the end of the show, towards the end of the movie. They're going to come out with a new version of those things, and you're going to get a glimpse at the growth of the suit and the Batmobile. That's my thought process on it. I loved Batfleck's suit. I thought it was awesome. I thought he looked jacked. I thought he moved quick. It looked great. And that's what you want. You need a Batman who can move quick. You need a Batman who can be powerful. You need a Batman who can be super smart. And I liked how they treated Batman in Batman vs. Superman. Besides the Martha thing, everything else was amazing. I thought that warehouse scene is probably the closest you'll ever get to see actual Batman. I think that even in the Christopher Nolan, who I think is probably the most brilliant director right now, even in his Batman trilogy, you saw a pretty spectacular Batman, but he was overshadowed by Heath Ledger's performance as Joker in their best movie, which was The Dark Knight. So it's a problem, but not necessarily not a problem. So I don't know. That's my thought process on this whole thing. I think we don't know his wealth situation, we don't know any of that kind of stuff. We don't know if he even has met with like Lucius Fox yet or anything like that. We don't know any of that stuff. We just know that he is a Batman. He's got a Batmobile. He's got a Bat motorcycle. They are all very practical. He could have built him himself. He's a smart dude. And my biggest problem, and I think this is going to come up, is how exposed the engine is in the back. Because unless there's some sort of protective thing that can protect that, you can obviously shoot that engine and it's shot. Or shoot whatever that stuff is in the back, and the car is going to be shot. Like, you're not going to be able to run it. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out. No idea, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
No idea.
And I am excited about this Batman movie.
I am too. I'm still.
And I think Pattinson's going to be good. I think he's going to be great.
I do too. I think he'll be good too.
And the cast that they have is like outrageous.
Yeah, cast is good.
I'm so looking forward to this.
Yeah, I am too.
This is what I've heard. This is what I heard from that little video I was talking to you about on YouTube with the Bat and the Sun guy. How he said that he feels like this is a Batman that could fit into that Joker world. That's how practical this is.
Yes,
he says he doesn't know if they're going to cross it over. He doesn't think they will or whatever, but they could with the way that they're doing this Batman.
Why not? They are already making another Joker movie.
Right, but I
have to admit, I was surprised that Joaquin Phoenix would have been willing to do a sequel. I mean, I know the movie was good and it made a lot of money, and I know he won Best Actor for it, and he deservedly so. I'm surprised.
You get older, you get a little smarter.
Here we go. Yeah, well.
How things come back to ground one, ground zero, ground whatever. I don't know. How they rotate in circles and, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So anyway, let's get into the Funko Pop Friday. We have Funko Friday here. Every Friday, the Brian Man brings a Funko Pop to the table and shows you what he's got, because he's got 7.8 billion of them.
Well, it's probably like something like 80 of them, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
So this actually segues nicely into my choice for today.
I'm going to put you on the full screen here.
This is a very special one. So this, because Batman, I think last year in 2019, had its 80th anniversary, so they had Batman 80 years. And Funko Pop released a bunch of different iterations of Batman, whether it's through television, movies. Of course, I have not made it any secret. My favorite Batman is and will always be, and the person who I believe is the greatest Batman is Michael Keaton. I believe Michael Keaton is the best Batman we've ever had. So this is a Funko Pop of the Michael Keaton Batman from the movies, and it's cool. It's in a sleek black box. Check that out, huh? Nice.
I like it.
Nice. See, but it's him. It's the one where he's holding the Batarang. But you can tell just by looking at the costume also that this is the Michael Keaton one. So you can see on the back, it's got that big Batman 80 years logo on it. Yeah, this is a really cool pop. I remember when I saw this, I was like, immediately I had to buy it. I think I got it at Newberry Comics. But yeah, so this is Batman number 275 in the Funko Pop series. The 80-year collection, the Michael Keaton 1988 movie version.
Excellent.
Very cool. And Funko Pop, if you are a big Batman fan, and I will probably get this if it goes down in price at some point, they just released their biggest Funko Pop ever. It's a Batman one, and I think it's 15 inches. It's huge. They already make 10. They already, oh my God, it's 15 inches. I mean, they already make 10-inch Funko Pops, which are pretty cool. My kids actually have some of them. I think I even have I actually don't have one, but the kids have a bunch of them. But they made this Batman one is, I think, like 15 or 16. No, wait a minute. I think it's 18 inches. It is an 18-inch Funko. It's a foot and a half. Dude, you're talking like, I can't even get it in frame how big that thing probably is.
Yeah.
It's a big, 18 inches is a lot to take on. I like the music that came in right there as I said that. All
right, so thank you guys for watching, listening, however you took this in today. Thank you, Clint, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're glad you're healthy. And fortunately, you're in ground zero, but I'm glad you're healthy. Stay healthy. Use Clorox. Use hand sanitizer. Wash your hands. Don't let people cough in your mouth. Don't drink out of the soup station at the Big Y. Don't drink.
Did they fucking catch that guy yet or what? Let's go. Do we have any word on him?
I don't know, man.
Fucking die.
All right, so thank you guys for watching. You can find me on Twitter at IronHornersFinkle, and you can find me on Instagram at Happy McAvoy.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man. And as you know, it is a Friday.
Yeah!
The week.
Woo!
And of course, in the words of the great Tony Stark, and I actually happened to watch that movie again last night. I watched Avengers Endgame, and yes, I ddid cry again at the end because I can't fucking make it through it without crying. Every time fucking Tony dies, and every time I see that goddamn video that he shoots for his daughter, part of the journey is the end. I can't get through it. I tried. Couldn't. I thought I was going to get. It's like Toy Story 3 at this point. I just can't. It's just no matter what. I just can't get through it. So, and have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday. And stay classy, Planet Globe. That's a cool Batman right there. I like that. I like that Batman.
He always sits at my desk with me.
It's a good one.
It's
a good one.
At my desk. I have.
We should do a
Batmans?
do a Mount Rushmore of Batmans.
That would be fun.
That would be a good one. I mean, there's certainly been plenty enough.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we should wait until after the. You know what? We probably don't need to wait. There are enough Batman iterations out there between cartoons, comics, and movies that we could easily do a Mount Rushmore of Batmans. Yeah, that's cool. I like that one.
I have to. This is one of my favorite because this is when I grew up watching Batman.
Yes, sure. Was that Batman Beyond or something?
No, the animated series.
Oh, it's just the animated series. Yeah. I thought it was called Batman Beyond or something.
Batman
like that.
Beyond was.
That's an animated one too, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Different. All right. See you again. Bye. See you Monday.
Yay.
Yay.
Be safe.
We did it again.